as we always do about this time, sucker shit.
No, I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
There are no, let me take that back, because this is in honor of the upcoming football season. We all love football. I know you stopped watching the NFL because you Al Sharpton. But there are no choreographed field goal celebrations.
Good point.
You only do the dances when you score a touchdown. Now you get points for a field goal, but it's not the ultimate goal, right? So for example, just because as a guy, you take your kid to the game and you buy him an outfit, that don't make you a father. You could actually be part of Big Brothers Los Angeles and do that. Nigga, that's a field goal. Being a father's a lifelong thing. Not just because you went to see a Mookie Betts at the Dodger game. For the ladies, bragging about being engaged twice. Last time I checked, engagement and marriage is two different things. Engagement is on the road to marriage, right? Engagement is the equivalent of calling yourself a sandwich artist and you work at Subway.
Like that.
Yeah, no mayo. You choreograph field goal celebration niggas, you on some sucker shit.
Oh, man. All right. All right.
Okay.
That was, I didn't see that coming. All right, so.
You never see him come. All right.
You're right. So, as we always do about this time, sucker shit.
I was thinking
Uh-oh.
about the good old days at Wadsworth Avenue Elementary School. East side, very east side. Shout out to Joe Clark. Rest in peace. I was a double major in recess and lunch. Okay? And what I realized is many things I should say, not everything, many things about relationships and dealing with people you could have learned on the playground.
Okay.
You ever been in a conversation with somebody and no matter what you say to them, they'll say, well, what about? So you talk to a woman, she says, well, what about men? You talk to a conservative, what about Chicago? Well, right then, you playing dodgeball. No matter what you throw, it ain't gonna hit them. Then you have conversations with folks, and it's like talking to a brick wall, right? You can give them all the stats, the information, all the data. They mama could have did a study on it. And they gonna look at you and say, well, I just don't feel that's true. Well, what you playing in is kickball. Because they gonna take your idea and kick that shit over the fence. Now this one is for the ladies. I'm gonna help you out again. I'm explaining relationship theory. See, many people had the gym. If you went to the good school, you had the jungle gym. But if you were at school in the hood, all you had was monkey bars. 4 bars across, 2 poles in the concrete. That's all you got. Now, when you was in kindergarten or first grade, the monkey bars looked huge. And you struggled, you couldn't get across. By the time you got into the 5th, 6th grade, you went across, and nobody ever, 5th, 6th graders, they didn't mess with the monkey bars. Well, when women say, all he did was sleep with me and he never called me back. Well, there's no Olympic monkey bars. It's really basic on the playground. So if you're basic and you don't have nothing else to offer, you a monkey bar. He went across and he saw it wasn't nothing to it. And then the last thing is whenever you were done with recess, lunch, you played, you got back in line. And what was the rule when you got back in line? Arms distance. That's the Me Too movement. Stay your ass 6 feet away. You failing grade playground niggas. You want some sucker shit.
Oh my God. Yo, I don't know how you put this shit together. Oh man.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
This one. Let's see how this one goes.
Okay. So as we always do about this time, sucker shit.
I have guilty pleasure. Okay?
Uh-oh.
I'm a fan of Negro cinema.
Okay.
Okay. One of my favorite movies, Hollywood Shuffle
Third.
by Robert Townsend. And they had a scene where they was at Winky Dinky Dog, okay? And they was talking about hoe cakes, because hoes gotta eat too. That's it. Who knew that hoes could provide nourishment? That's not what you think of when you think of hoes. So I was thinking about the different kind of hoes that people might not realize that's out there. So the first hoe, these are the dudes that don't stand on their square, that'll say anything to a woman to get to that box, that golden triangle, okay? They gonna lie through their teeth. They gonna tell you they make $500,000 a year. They gonna pull up in their rental car and act like it's theirs. That's what I call the polydent hoes.
Polydent?
You know what polydent is, right? For your dentures. Niggas lying through their teeth. The next group, these are the women that go to a Pastor Pork Chops church every Sunday. They do everything the pastor say. If he say do a backflip down the aisle, get the tumbling mats out, but won't listen to a damn thing from their husband or man when they get to the house. Can't no man tell me nothing. Now the pastor done slept with half the congregation and he ain't your man. If he is married and an actual man of God, he probably got a wife and kids, he going home to them. You just going over there for a 2-hour feel-good session, and then you gotta live the rest of your life for 6 days and 22 hours without it. Use a spiritual hoe. Damn near crackhead, because all you doing is going to get a fix in the head. The next one. These are the whataboutisms. Right? Hey, babe, you didn't take out the trash. Well, what about that time you went to the market and you forgot the mayonnaise? What they got to do with the garbage right here? Well, baby, you said you was gonna do this. You was gonna pay that bill. Well, what about that cable bill in 1982 you didn't pay? Comcast still after me on my credit. Excuse me? Oh, I like these. This is the stuff to get you to go like, men ain't shit, because you picked 3 bad dudes in a row. What about Craig? Craig wasn't no good. You dated Craig. They ain't got shit to do with your homegirl. What I call the pump fake hoe. Pump fake ain't a real shot. Last one. These are the folks, God bless them. They went to school and they got their degrees and they hang them on the wall. And no matter what discussion you into it, they tell you about their damn degree, like that gives them some background on something. So you have a degree in sociology. We talking about the Clippers. Well, I have a degree in sociology, so I can see what the player is thinking over there. But you don't get your ass. I could never date a plumber. I have a master's in education. You're a teacher. You make 50 grand. The plumber make $130.
He owns it.
You know what I'm saying?
Or two.
Don't you see my closet full of purses and clothes and my $200,000 of debt? I'm a success. These are what I call paper hoes. Because they think that paper is important. You Hollywood shuffle hoes, you on some sucker shit.
Winky. That had to have been the first time in life ever I've ever heard the equation of spiritual and cracking.
Well, they say once you smoke it, you do have a spiritual experience. I got, my uncle and a god sister. They were both crackheads. They actually went to prom together. It's a separate story. Don't worry about it. This before they start smoking. Crack wasn't out then. They older. And then she turned out to be a lesbian.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll tell former crackhead hoop star lesbian stories later.
Oh my goodness. Ready? So, as we always like to do about this time, sucker shit.
I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
Both of you gentlemen know this, but we just do this for the folks that watch, that a nuclear weapon has only been used once and by one country in recorded human history. And that was by the United States against Japan in the Second World War. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So the bomb hits. So there's where the bomb hits, and then there's the damage that it causes immediately. Mm-hmm. And then there's the fallout, the nuclear fallout, the radiation, the effects on people physically after. People didn't die immediately, but then people died or suffered for years because of the nuclear fallout. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about a conversation we were having about certain kind of dudes, right? So for example, like you said, oh, he's the dude that'll buy all the ladies at the bar a drink, right? To take her to dinner and don't go up in her dude. Okay? But now you set the expectations from all the women that oh, he just gonna show up and pay for everything, right? They don't have no obligation to they man. They think all men are supposed to treat them like they their woman. No, you get that treatment because you my woman. Every woman ain't my woman. No, hashtag my wallet too.
My wallet too.
Yeah, listen, my wallet has filed Me Too allegations against several women. Okay, because they think my body, my choice. No, my wallet, my choice. These are the back in college, and this shout out to my boy, right? We did date auctions. We auctioned ourselves off to raise money for Black graduation, right? And my boy came out with the champagne, remember? Mm-hmm. And the roses. I was calling it Ronnie Romance. And I was like, you going on one date that she paying for, and you coming out like Mr. Bubbles, okay? You setting the stage up all wrong. And this was back when I was in shape. I came out with a damn vest with no shirt on, like, letting you know what it is. Buy this beefcake. But for charity. The nuclear fallout of these simp decisions is affecting brothers everywhere. You know, I've seen situations. I'm saying, woman is going off on the dude, calling his mama names, this, and that. She hit him. Dude trying to protect himself. He accidentally shoved or hold her, and here comes some dude coming from, hey man, don't be doing that to that woman. Wait a minute, hold up. Okay, Yolanda Turner over here, okay, Ike's cousin, is whooping ass in these streets. All right, but the simp fallout, okay, is all over the place. Now, I got principles and I respect women. I was raised by my grandmother, my mother, aunts, my beautiful sister, all these women, okay, that love me. But they had their principles. They maintained being a woman, and your obligation was to maintain being a man. We all messed up. Got our women in plaid shirts and buzz cuts. And now these dudes is wearing dresses and the footies, the socks with the footies on the back, and think, oh, I'm just gonna express myself. You like you're on the drill team, okay? These nuclear fallout niggas is on some sucker shit.
Welcome back to Skinny Black's Lounge.
We live.
I am Rob, also known as Skinny Black, and to my left,
Rennie.
yeah, and to his left,
JT, here to side.
right,
Hi, Mom.
and to JT's left,
Lebo, El Fantasma.
there it is.
Big chiclet.
You want the candies? So, hey, listen. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening in. Again, anything you hear that sparks the noodle, comment, share, like, subscribe. But let's get into it. So, I want to share something that I was thinking about maybe like a couple of weeks ago, and it's about respect and expectations. So actually I titled it Respect and Love, Managing Expectations. So I'll read this because sometimes I can go off the rails. So good thing I wrote it down. So there's some thinking. It doesn't matter what you know, agree with, and or will do. It doesn't change the truth of what is. People are making decisions and acting off what they feel, what they believe, and what they think or know based on their own experiences. Yet, does that change the fact that something is true? I'll stop there before I go on. So, people are acting on beliefs, feelings. Does that change the fact that something is true?
Of course not. I think that ultimately it's one of our grossest human errors in as we interact with each other is allowing our emotions to dictate how we see things and how we look at reality. And we all are very aware of how emotions can color how we process information and then how we respond to the things that we are hearing and seeing and dealing with. And based on your level of emotion and how you've been taught to process your emotion, that will affect every aspect of your life in any interaction, even above and beyond relationships. And, this is workplace, this is interpersonal interaction with family, above and beyond your spouse or your love interest.
So, thank you. That was perfect, actually. So as a father, as a head of a household, I don't have the luxury to act off of feelings or beliefs or just my own personal experiences. as the one with the responsibility to make shit happen. Things may be true that contradict my feelings, beliefs, or personal experiences. I have to put those aside and act accordingly based on what's true and real to support, advance, protect, and provide for my family. The real work of life is reconciling my feelings, beliefs, and personal experiences with the realities of the universe and things beyond my understanding to be the best version of myself every day. The real question is, how do I manage expectations of others who aren't doing, acknowledging, or accepting the work? And so I say that because I have found myself mad disappointed, and I had to check myself because it was because of my expectations of other people, and because I know my role, and I smashed that shit, as best of my ability, daily, to provide, protect my family and make sure they're good. Then there's an expectation that I put on each and every one of them, that my mistake has been I haven't update and shared those expectations with them regularly. Therefore, I have been regularly disappointed.
There are a couple things. Number one, I'm proud. When I met him, he couldn't read. And he struggled about that fourth or fifth sentence,
Thank you, bro.
but he powered through.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. It's like being a stutterer. Sometimes shit come back.
Remember reading is fundamental. Proud of you, boy. Proud of you, boy.
Thank you, man. I practice.
He did that shit before Rosetta Stone. I was watching a brother by the name of Jason Wilson. And those who don't know who he is, he had a video that went viral. He has a martial arts studio in Detroit.
Yeah.
And it was a video of him mentoring a young man to get through his fear.
Yes.
The martial arts studios is just a conduit for him to teach manhood and spiritual principles to men and boys.
Yep.
And he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he said that emotion
Yeah, I love that.
is a great servant, but a terrible master. We have raised a generation of overly emotional men. There's nothing wrong with expressing your emotion. There's nothing wrong with your feelings. There's nothing wrong with having them. But how you choose to use them is the difference between life and death in some cases, success and failure. When we're on task and we're on a mission, it is not time to be emotional. When you are the leader of your family or your group or yourself, when you have things to accomplish, it's not time to get caught up in the emotion. I'll do it this way. Emotion versus logic and reason is a classic thing. Let's say we own a restaurant, Skinny Black's restaurant. We would argue because Rob would want to make it vegan and I probably want to serve some barbecue, but let's not get into the details. But let's just say that our most popular dish is the chicken dish, some chicken dish. Right. We're in the black neighborhood. Chicken.
Say white ones too.
Right? And say it's actually a favorite thing in this country. But say we do 100 covers a night and 70 are the chicken, right? Well, it would make perfect sense to have 75 to 80 covers of chicken available for the kitchen.
On standby.
On standby, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's logic. Well, emotion will have you have 30 because they'll go, well, it's possible that this night we're gonna serve 80 beef, even though all the information from the sales are in. Emotion has you acting on possibility instead of probability.
And it goes, touches on that. We've had this discussion before about being self-led and self-regulated. and self-led, self-regulated. The difference between the two is recognizing what your emotion is, then instead of reacting, we're making a plan of deliberate action, you know, to control your response. So how do you identify what that emotion is? Like you have to pause, you know, and in a culture where everybody's encouraging people to be impulsive, like, and respond. You're entitled to your emotions. That doesn't serve people well. You know, that impulse doesn't serve you well. You know, don't be self-led. Be self-regulated. You're not betraying your emotions. You're not betraying yourself. It's not a matter of someone not allowing you to own what you're feeling in that space, but you'll find on numerous occasions that you'll have a certain amount of emotion. And although you were justified in your feelings, you later on that maybe, you know, that your reaction may not have been appropriate for what was going on in that space. And had you taken some pause, you could have created the appropriate response, you know. And it's the regulation part where we are failing miserably because it's this ridiculous emphasis on people being entitled to things, specifically their right to express themselves, regardless of, like you said, what is in the space or what right now. Is this really important right now? Like,
But think about it this way, because maybe you guys have heard it, because I haven't heard anybody say, well, your emotions can be wrong. Everybody always says, oh, you're justified. Well, sometimes, no, you're not.
yeah.
Your emotions can be connected to something that's not even the actual event that's going on. Your shit may be connected to something your mom and daddy did to you 30 years ago. And it's all coming out your chest at this person, and this person ain't done a damn thing to you. Or they just talking regular. That's your emotional bullshit and baggage you got to deal with you. Oh, because I'm justified, because I feel this way. Okay, I can feel like a Smurf right now. I ain't turning blue, and I ain't got no goddamn white hat on.
Yeah, I saw something the other day that's like bleeding on people that didn't cut you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Here.
Now, so it's funny, man. This train of thought came because of, you know, just recent events with my family, especially my sons, both of them, and you know, I had to catch myself, and I'm like, okay, what am I feeling in these things, right? And what are my responses, and am I responding in a way that's regulated? And when I do respond, am I coming from a place of a couple things, a place of wisdom, as much as I can impart to them, a place of vision, a place of responsibility, and at least implanting or planting a seed that helps them along their journey of manhood.
Because it's their journey.
Connected to that regulation shit.
Yeah.
Connected to that not acting off emotion shit. But go ahead.
And recognizing the aspect that it is their journey.
Right.
You know what I mean? And ultimately, the choices are theirs. So all you can do is place those things in front of them, and then they still have to make the choices, specifically when they, you know, get to that the adult age in theory, you know.
Yeah, and I don't mind the choices.
Yeah.
They have to be cool with the consequences that come with the choices that they make.
And specifically, he goes even further. When your bad choices and your consequences then affect me, because now
That one.
you are looking for me to throw you that lifeline after I laid out a completely different set of circumstances for you. And then it's at that point, you know, now I have to choose how I want to interact in this space. And then it's a thing that I tell my family all the time. Hey, you can ask for my help, but you're gonna ask for the help on my terms.
Right.
It won't be on your terms.
Right.
So if Uncle Rennie talks shit and you don't want to hear my shit, well, you don't want my help.
I told Rob
This is what
yesterday,
I do.
I said, when you get money from me, if you don't expect no input, that's called a grant. You better contact your state offices for that shit, federal government for a grant. Okay, it's attachments to me. One of the things about being the levels of manhood and stepping into it is being able to overcome adversity. And one of the things that you have to overcome is your feelings being hurt.
All the time, justified or not. Justified or not.
And so here's the thing: we have a bunch of folks who can't have hurt feelings; they can't function, and that's why you have motherfuckers on TV on American Idol that can't sing, trying to do auditions, because ain't nobody hurt their feelings before to let you know, hey, you can't sing, nigga. You can go sit your ass down. You need to find your talent, because this ain't it. You know?
Hey, listen. One of the things that Jay used to get on me, used to tease me about, was ironing my undershirt. Well, that came from growing up and getting teased like a motherfucker about coming out the house with wrinkled shirts. So no matter what the fuck it was growing up, it's getting the iron, bro. But I'm just telling you where it
sees
came
the
from.
undershirt.
Hey,
I didn't
get
okay. Notice I didn't get on about ironing his t-shirt.
It's under the shirt.
It's
I don't want no wrinkles underneath the shirt.
I
wasn't taking no chances.
this is how emotion will mislead you.
Yeah, 100%.
I wasn't taking no chances.
100%.
You got to know that crew that was joning back then.
No, 100%. I mean, just think about all the things, all those suppressed things, and how you operate from childhood. Like, I mean, crazy story. You know what I mean? I have a bit of like hyper clean appearance thing, and it is
Really?
due in large part to being around a bunch of women. You know what I mean? Who were young women. My cousins and my aunts were young. They were young. They were, teenagers as I was like 6 and 7. And so they had that super incisive, ooh, you smell. You gonna go out the house like that, you know? And then that walk out and make you self-conscious, before you step out the door. So
You got it early.
yeah, and got it a lot, And but then there's the other more suppressed aspects of it, because my grandfather would do a thing like, well, I wanted to get out the house with my grandmother, man. My grandmother be in the house, man. She would roll in the crib. So my grandfather, on occasion, he'd take me and my brother somewhere. If we weren't ready to go, he had a timeline. You have to be ready to go. And that doesn't mean in the process of getting dressed.
Let's roll.
Yeah, that is clothed, shoes tied, not shoes off, shoes tied, and looking, as he would say, presentable. Like, you had to be presentable. And so you have all these things, all these memories and things like that create this action that is based in emotional response. Like, I have these habits now based in these emotions that were triggered in me as a young age. And then to take it a step further, my father, the father who did not raise me, when him pulling the split of my mom, and he would slide in and out and do things and pop in, you see your pops, you want to roll with him, and the cat, I wanted to go with him to his store or whatever, whatever little hustle he had at the time. And the cat hit me with some cold stuff because he just didn't want me to go with him because he was on a different mission. And so the cat was like, hey man, you can't go with me. Look at me. Look at your hair, man. Your hair is all messy. Man, your ears are dirty. And I was like, my ears are dirty. Like, man, my hair ain't bad, but man, that dude had me cleaning my ears obsessively. You know what I mean? Obsessively. Because and it's just how deep seated, but for years, I'm digging in I'm doing these things. I didn't figure that out until he died. You know what I mean? I was 40, 2. You know what I mean? Before I figured out the whole ear cleaning obsession and things like that was based in me just trying to roll with my pops.
Wow.
And that's why motion is a terrible master.
Yes.
Because this nigga got the cleanest ears in the Los Angeles
And
area.
end up doing damage.
Hey,
doing
Cause you
damage because of that. It ended up making me susceptible to ear infections because wax is actually good. It protects your ear. And I ended up doing damage to my hearing because of it.
Dirty ear nigga stand up.
You know what I'm saying? Crazy. You know, and that's a hell of a rabbit hole to go down based on some emotion. You know what I mean? But like,
Real talk.
you know,
That cleaning up for women thing. It was funny. I was when my son was young. You know, boy, he dirty all the time. My mom be like, "He did clean." I said, "He'll clean up when he get teenage years and he started liking girls, and one of them say, "Yo, ass stink." That's what happened to me. I came back the next day smelling like Stetson, like my grandfather's musk.
Didn't we all?
had the lasso.
Didn't we all?
That's
So,
what
you know,
that had the
it's
lasso.
steps. It's steps to this.
$6.99.
Didn't we all? Hey, and you know, being in the project, being poor, you know, it was like I didn't want to get teased. Like you pick the shit up. Like you know who got what. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
You know who lived where.
Yep.
And I was like, shit, man. At least ain't nobody gonna shit on me for, you know, how I look, how I smell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was on the
Things you could control.
Early.
Things
on
you
deodorant
could control.
cologne.
Yeah, like he didn't have no roll on. I used Tussie. And he used to stick his fingers under his arm. Go ahead. I didn't mean to tell you a story for you.
See, so for the audience, there is a running way that I have reconciled in my relationship with JT, and that is when it comes down to the joke or the truth, picking the joke.
Well, I wasn't there when he was growing up in Alabama, but a lot of black people use Tussie. My grandmama
That shit
did.
was funny.
I got my grandma beat my ass one day for making fun of it. I was like, Grandma, if you stick your fingers in the deodorant and then you stick them on your arms and you musty, your fingers gonna stink. That makes sense, right? Got my ass whooped.
Ass whooping.
Yeah, ass whooping. Got a lot of those. I tell you about the time I did a strip tease for her.
Yeah, you did
Yeah,
tell me
threw
that.
my drawers
yeah.
at my mom.
Yeah, beat the shit out you. That's what you
Ran up the steps.
beat the shit out of you.
Oh,
So,
respect.
so as we think about respect, expectations, you know, and it's been heavy. It's been heavy. Nigga, I can't get that image out of my head.
Oh, man.
It's been heavy around lately, you know, and I'm sharing this because, you know, we get into these father-son dynamics, right? And, you know, it's a bunch of things that, especially with us and how we were raised and how we were socialized as young men coming up, you know, is very different from this newer generation. And it's funny, you know, when I, you know, that's why I love talking to Jay, because he always leveled the shit out. So when I'm going off and when I'm thinking a certain way, he's like, man, our grandfathers thought we were soft.
Hello. That's what I thought. They soft. I was like, our grandfathers, we soft.
Man, you know how many times I was called actually soft?
That's the world is so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know.
So much more comfortable.
But let me just jump in because, you know, I got a couple of beefs with the younger generation. One just popped in my head. We all grew up in the era of school clothes,
Yeah.
play clothes,
Yeah.
church clothes.
Yes.
Well, that's why our appearance, so many things matter.
Yeah.
That's why we got beef when you come outside in your pajamas.
Right.
Because you on some bullshit. You couldn't
Show up
come
in
outside
school.
like that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it was, and when you came home, you had to change clothes to go play.
It was a big deal seeing a dude with a do-rag outside the house for me.
Oh, man.
Like, you take that shit off before you get out the house.
Yeah.
The second beef I have is everybody's struggle is different, but the struggles aren't the same.
Yeah.
You feeling bad or somebody calling you a name, nigga, you ain't sitting at a lunch counter in Selma.
Getting called niggas.
Yeah, you just didn't walk across the Edmonds Pettis Bridge and get your head bashed in by some white dude on horseback.
And spit on and shit.
Somebody called me a name online. Turn the phone off and go play. I've been bullied. I was bullied. I forget going outside. I've been bullied by
in the
my own
house.
family.
He's bullied at home.
Yeah, bullied at home. You know, one of my cousins had finished high school. We was all, younger, the younger ones. And then another one of my cousins said, "Man, I'm proud of you because you dumb. We didn't think you was gonna make it." That shit was true.
True.
But it was funny as hell. But what I'm saying is, did he go cry in the corner? No, everybody laughed. All right? You have to develop some thick skin to get through this life. The fact of the matter is, the vast majority of people don't give a shit about what you're going through, and they don't care about you. I'm not preparing my children for life inside of my house.
Right.
That's the place they're loved.
Right.
I'm preparing them for the world that exists outside of my door.
Yes.
And we have it backwards. When we were kids, we played in the street, we ate dirt, we did all kind of stuff, right? Now these kids are in a bubble. Every time something happened, they halfway slip, and here comes mama, here comes moist ass daddy, grabbing them before they hit the ground. Well, if they don't fall, how the hell they gonna ever learn how to get back up?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard something that, in this exchange I had with my oldest son, he expressed some things to me, and the only thing I was thinking was, Kevin Samuel's words. The world doesn't owe you understanding. That's what you feel is context, fine. The world doesn't owe you understanding. It's your shit. Be your best self every day. Figure that shit out. And in spite of it, be better.
And they're creating a legacy of entitlement.
Yes.
And as opposed to, there's plenty of horrible legacies that we need to let go of, from our generation. So this is not, as we say, when we do the old man lament of back in our day, understand.
Get off my lawn, nigga.
There's plenty of terrible legacies that we have full understanding.
For real.
You know
Plenty,
what I mean?
plenty.
We were abused. Those be real. Those wasn't ass whoopings.
We got fucked up.
Yeah.
Hebrew slave.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're not pining. We're not pining for the olden days, right? So I have an understanding of that, but it's this reflexive action that has happened in an attempt to give voice to things that needed voice.
Yeah.
To now forcing people to believe that we have to listen to you, or that somebody outside of your own home really wants to listen to you. They don't. You know what I mean? When my grandfather would say, "No one gives a shit about you," you know what I mean? Like he wasn't speaking in absolutes, but tell me he wasn't right. Like they didn't give a shit. Like they didn't give a shit.
When somebody say, "How was your day?" or "How you doing?" if you really start telling them your problems, like, what's wrong with you? It's a social understanding. You're supposed to say I'm cool.
They don't even really want to say hello. They want to just get to the transactional part
How's
of
your
it.
day going, man?
You know
Cheryl
what
fucked me up, man. What? Oh, man, I'm trying to get to the Doritos.
Exactly. This is all transactional. The hello is just a part of you giving me my medium value meal. That's it. Realistically, you didn't need to say hello. I just need to correct change. You know?
Oh shit. Well, let me ask this. So, and I'll start with Ren. Define, in the context of this conversation, in the context of manhood, define and because I love your origin stories about your father and the men that raised you. Define respect.
Ooh, that context. In a relationship or just as humanism?
Well, I would even say, I mean, what's heavy on my mind is shit. As a father, like what was the respect that y'all gave?
Okay. respect my effort.
Ooh.
Respect is your actions are commensurate with the amount of effort that I am putting forth to give you a path. I'm clearing a path. I'm standing in front and taking the brunt for you. I'm taking these blows for you. As you grow, I'm shielding you. This takes a tremendous amount of effort. Now, some people are going, kind of meander through there, but I'm blowing down doors for you, son. I'm creating the easiest pathway forward for you, and I need an effort commensurate with the amount of effort that I'm putting forth. You don't have to have the same level of success. It would be nice, but I at least need you to honor the effort and honor the sacrifices that were created. That's the respect. It's the thing that I tell my nieces and nephews, little cousins all the time. I was like, yo, man, John Pyle didn't sit back in Guyana and wait every 2 years for a sibling to leave him and then finally make it to this country to almost die of pneumonia because he didn't have a winter coat, just for you to come over here and, smoke weed, go willy-nilly, have kids with a bunch of random chicks and stun on the ground. You know what I mean? It was a tremendous amount of sacrifice made just for you to get here. From this 5'6", 120-pound man who missed his mother constantly and learned that no child should be treated like they aren't. They don't belong to someone because he was treated like that. And then only to come around and love every child that ever comes around him. And for you to turn around and dishonor that legacy. I mean, there's some terrible legacies, like we said. We got some terrible legacies.
Some should be dishonored.
Yes. Yeah. But there's some wonderful, honorable legacies in the sacrifice of Black people in this country, living through Jim Crow and all of that. All our family members who come from the South, that rural South, that oppressive state, living through shit like, oh, we can't cross Avalon? Avalon? It's the reason why it's called the East Side.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't cross Avalon.
Mm-hmm.
Stay your ass right here. Yeah. All those man, there's sacrifice made in that, and at least respect the sacrifice.
Respect. Well, let's keep it a buck. As you know, Black folks, we're amazing. If you wrote an actual story of Black people in America, if you came from somewhere else, you wouldn't believe it. It's a story of struggle, surviving and thriving under terrible situations. But with that said, we only have 2.6% of this country's wealth. So we ain't got no money. We don't have no assets. And we love stunting on each other, but we bullshit. We ain't got nothing compared to what's out there. So the actual currency that's been traded amongst us from our history here has been respect. If it was the Black Stock Exchange, respect would be the oldest commodity traded on the floor.
Love that.
How many fights did you get into because of
respect? That's what I was just about to say. Inside or outside of my home growing up, disrespect would get your ass whooped. Right. It was universal.
And what was
inside the house, outside the house. You couldn't disrespect neighbors that were adults.
Shit, hell no.
You disrespect your peers on the playground, it's a fight.
Yep.
You disrespect the teacher, because I grew up still with a little corporal punishment. My teacher had a paddle in the class in elementary school.
All of ours did.
You disrespect parents, grandparents in the home. Okay, all of those places, fights breaking out. And it was only one spot where I had a shot, and that was with my buddies. I could, everybody else whipped my ass. We are straying away from respect. We are in this generation of can't nobody tell me nothing. Wait a minute. That's just not masculine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because one of the tenets of manhood that I adhere to is respect.
Yeah.
To this day, I respect my elder. It's sir and ma'am a lot of times. I've never had someone's parents not like me.
Right.
If you know how to present yourself and you shake hands and look a man in the eye, you say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ma'am, how are you doing today? Do you need some help with anything? You're gonna automatically endear yourself to him. But now you just pull up in the driveway, honk the horn, and your daughter will run by you and go out, and you don't say nothing? Oh, I'm going out on the date. Wait a minute.
Honk the horn.
Honk the horn? You on call? That's called prostitution, baby. They honk the horn down on Figueroa.
Yeah. Shit. Those are called expectations.
And we're not dealing as a community and as a people in our oldest commodity, because it ties back into what we're talking about before, because we are now a people that is led by emotion and not our principles and grounding things that we used to be led by.
Well, let me add this layer on, and I got one last question. So I'm thinking about the pieces that Rennie put together. Honor my effort and sacrifices, right? And the disconnect between that and our kids, this younger generation, being the products of our successes.
And I believe that's an obligation. Like, I don't believe that's a choice personally. Like, you have some choices as far as is your path and things like that. We always talk about choices. Give our children these choices. But I believe that you that honor the sacrifices. That's not a choice. That's a part of the code. That's a part of the principles. That's a part of the guiding principles is honoring those sacrifices. We've said it a million times. The gravest mistake, specifically our generation made, was giving our children all the things that we didn't have, because, all the things we didn't have are the things that made us what we are. And so in our desire
That part.
to make it easier, we've made it easier for them to disregard the sacrifice, because we haven't given them any context. Haven't given any context. Like, I got sat down and was told, off a conversation based on like something as little as like, I need this and this for school, and then I was told, okay, well, check this out. So this is what it costs for the lights. This is what it costs for mortgage. This is what it costs for food. This is what it costs for student loans for graduate school. This is what it costs. And a breakdown. How much an hour do you need to make to pay these bills a month? Figure it out. And that was my aunt, who raised me also as my other mother, second mother. She sat me down on that one. It was like, do the math on that. Give me a sum. Give me a good sum. Throw what's good money? What do you think good money an hour is? And I was like, oh, I threw the number out. And she was like, well, do the math on that. How many hours a week do you work it? What's a work week? And I sat there and I added it up, and I was like, so, well, how how do you get to this to cover this now? And in addition to what you just asked for. Oh, and this money that we use to take care of your grandparents. And this money that we use just in case shit, you know? Just in case your cousin gets arrested.
Or locked up again.
And your aunt is gonna call here and ask for some bail money. You know? The just in case thing. So I have an understanding of that. So now, this is what the effort was. Now, you have an obligation. Now you have an obligation. Like, man, look at these sacrifices being made. You know, I have to take that into consideration now as I'm doing things. I have to take that into consideration. That's what I believe. Okay, that won't necessarily be, you know, any children's that I have in the future's principles or my nieces and nephews. That may not be there, you know, but I personally has always been like, man, I have to, gotta honor the sacrifice.
Well, my children, you know, one, no, they ain't still children technically because they mine, but one is a damn adult. You know, my son and daughter have been raised firmly in the middle class. They don't have no ghetto stories, no hood tales like their daddy, you know? And I don't even tell them like that, you know?
But the tales, you know?
Yeah, if they come out, but it's not like, you know, some people, they act like life stopped at 14.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the legacy and honor and respect, that has to be there. There's a reason why you're firmly in the middle class. And that was because of the things that were set up by me and other people in our family to put you in this position. The attitude of, you owe me. Well, by the mandate of the state, once you turn 18, I don't owe you shit. So, you know, I wish my son was here because he'd co-sign it. I told him, I said, everything I do for you past this point is a bonus, nigga. You are banking on the kindness of my heart, right? And the principles I stand on. Don't you ever look me in the eye and say, you owe me.
And
all
even
right?
before 18, shelter, water,
That's
food,
what I'm saying. Them clothes don't have to be
clothing.
designer. Motherfucker t-shirt just say, t-shirt on the back.
Was that Zodi's? Zodi's had the t-shirt.
Shit.
Motherfucker tag just like t-shirt. No size, no nothing.
Just throw that on.
Tough break nigga wear.
Ralph's playing that.
TVN.
Also, I want to be clear. We're not advocating like do nothing for your children. What we're talking about is a respect that goes deeper than just that surface crap we say. It's deep rooted, it's deep seated, and it is on us as the men, as the fathers, as the mentors, as the leaders to put that into our young people. It goes into a fight that we're having amongst us adults, between the men and the women. Because mama is telling a lot of daddies, you can't tell my baby shit.
Yeah.
And
It's more than just tone of voice.
and we are missing the manhood element in the equation. 1 + 1 = 2. You take one out, you don't get to 2. Right? You could feel how you want, okay? But the damn math is the math. I believe the U.S. women's national soccer team said we feel that we not getting paid equal. Well, they went to court and they did the math and they were like, you're correct. You're getting paid more. Case dismissed. So you felt how you felt, but the math wasn't on your side. And that's where we at, black folks. We could feel how we want to feel, but look at our numbers and look at where we at. The math is not on our side.
And respect is more than just sass and tone of voice and, you know, actions and things like that. I mean, what is it? Actions based in emotion. What are your literal actions? What are you doing? You know, it's that conversation my pops had, man, like, what do you do for me? You know, now what you do for you, what do you do for me?
Man.
Those things, like in your actions, how do you show me respect based in how you move on a daily basis. How? In what way? In what way are you honoring the legacy? In what way are you respecting my sacrifices in your daily movement? That's not self-serving. You know, that's not a self-serving thing. And it doesn't have to necessarily be, when I say honor the legacy, like, you know, what are you doing above and beyond things for you, like for someone else, or your brother, or your younger sister, or your cousin, or the next door neighbor?
It's such a dope story that you know, for real. This is a
love that
dope
shit.
story that he told.
I love that shit.
And I'm going to incorporate that into my parenting because it didn't come out of my mouth the way that like that.
Yeah.
When my son was a teenager, I told him you were no longer, and I've only given him spankings twice, you know, talking shit, threatening him, but never really got to that. One time he opened the damn car door. I was driving up the highway. I whooped his ass in the passenger seat for that one. I was like, you're trying to kill me. But what I told him was, I said, you passed the spanking stage. We gonna fight, and I'm a dog walk your ass. Nah, I should have did that approach. Shouldn't have threatened to dog walk your child.
So I didn't tell that story.
Well, yeah.
You know them paddle balls?
Yeah, of course, the little red ball.
Yeah. I got caught one of those in the morning on the way to school.
You was the ball.
Yeah. For something I didn't even do.
Hey, shit happened.
For being there when the shit went down. Just to understand that I should have known to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah,
You
you'll
know
think
what I mean?
about that shit twice. next
Yeah.
time.
So if you gonna witness the stupidity. You gonna witness the stupidity.
Paddle ball.
Now go to school. Now go to school. Like that was
Paddle ball. 1 p.m. on ESPN 8, the Ocho.
you know what I'm saying? Man.
Inside the car,
Man.
getting his ass whooped.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the car jab. Car jab. That was another one.
Man.
Man, I mean,
know?
my thing of choice that, you know, I struggle with is boxing gloves. Brother Dio behind the board know about those.
Yeah, you need to work on your jab, your feint, and your defense.
It's like, hey man, you know what? Put the boxing gloves on. Let's meet in the backyard.
Let it go.
Hey, you ain't no man yet. Eat some of this leather. I understand.
You know
Oh, you
something
want to
you
be
said.
equal?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
You were talking about you have expectations, right? And are those expectations evolving just in your head?
Yeah.
And are you expressing those, the evolution of that? And I know that, and specifically with like my nieces and nephews, like mine, I haven't reiterated that, you know, how those things should have changed based on their age. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still hitting them with they're operating on 12-year-old principles. And I mean, when they were 12, the shit I went hard at, I've never actually sat down with them again. And I was like,
Adjusted.
yeah, and adjusted it. You know what I mean? But in my mind, I'm sweating them like, man, you 22. I didn't lay it out, you know, clearly. So when you said that, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you gotta keep recalibrating.
Man.
And the more you grow and gain, you pass that on, because one of the things you want to live and demonstrate that this is a lifelong journey, that you never stop growing. Wisdom and knowledge are a lifelong task. People think they know it all because they got some stupid ass degree on the wall, right? You have the last book you read without being asked had pictures in it, nigga. But you think you smart. You know, one of the things about respect is if you're not taught the importance of it as a man, once you get older, you don't understand the importance of standing on your square and maintaining respect, right? And then you fall into these relationships where you're disrespected and you take it because you don't understand how you're being belittled and marginalized in the moment. You know, I was telling Rob this. I was like, niggas that eat sherbet don't get laid. You like ice cream, but because she say something, You ordering this bullshit raspberry sherbet over here. You ain't getting laid, homeboy. Niggas that play Uno and don't play spades and bid whist. They don't get laid. This nigga, you want to play draw two? You 40 years old? You ain't getting none. Because you sacrificing your principles. You put down the Uno card and the puss dry up. As soon as you put the reverse card, that's what it's gonna. All the juice gonna suck right back up.
When you say draw 4,
yeah, it's going
like,
in her stomach. She gonna go like this, sitting across from you.
Gonna draw
You gotta stand on your principles, and you have to be okay with what leaves you.
Yeah.
Because it's not in line with you anyway.
Yeah.
When you are raised on these principles, you lose the fear of loss. And when you lose the fear of loss, you'll get more than you need.
I can't really fuck with that.
Some niggas go be watching this podcast with a spoonful of sherbet.
And that shit just gone.
This is sorbet. Sorbet. Technically.
Oh my
Sherbet,
God.
sorbet.
Jamba Juice has some wonderful smoothies with
They
sherbet.
do.
Thank you.
So we'll put it in a smoothie. We'll not be spooning that shit out the package and shit. Last thing.
Bougie niggas gonna be Googling dog walk.
Exactly. Like, what's dog walk?
You clearly haven't witnessed it.
Clearly hadn't experienced it.
No. Yeah.
The last thing is when we talk about respect, what role does equality play in respect?
Doesn't.
How so?
But what does equality have to do with respect?
Great question.
Well, when you're growing up, you're not equal to your parent or parents. So there's no equality there. I mean, maybe at the playground with your peers, there's some equality. But the people, the foundational people that are supposed to instill and train you in respect, you're not equal to.
Right.
You cannot lead until you learn to follow. And that's why the home training is important. The question of who raised you used to be asked. You would be identified by who raised you. Oh, that's Miss such and such kid.
Yeah.
And by saying who you was raised by, let the neighborhood know them niggas ain't shit over there.
Bona fides.
Those so Jones boys. Oh yeah, we know them Joneses. They ain't no good. All right. So equality of what?
Right.
There's an understanding, but there's not equality, right? Equal means the same. Okay. We're not the same. So my ex-wife, fantastic mom. We have totally different roles, and there's respect there. But we're not talking about equality in terms of fatherhood and manhood. We're not equal. In terms of womanhood and that experience, I'm not her equal. I submit to her authority on womanhood because I've never been one. I don't know nothing about it.
Right.
And in turn, she submits to my manhood, right? And we ain't even married, but we have that respect amongst each other because she was raised in that way, right? Because regardless of our emotions, we have a greater goal of creating our daughter and helping her become the best possible woman she can be. It all ties in when you actually apply it. But it don't have nothing to do with no damn equality.
And equality is not capability. You know what I mean? So when I say you're not my equal, it doesn't mean you're not capable of achieving. It's not to diminish you, but you're not my equal. It's the fucking facts. We're not the same. There are different rules that apply to me than apply to you. Because in my house, I create the rules. And then when you leave the house, there are a whole different set of rules. And there's no equality out there either.
Right.
You're capable of maneuvering in those spaces. You're capable of ascending to whatever heights you need to. You have all the ability and all the traits in order to do so. But to say you're not my equal is not to diminish you in any aspect.
Respect is earned. give you this example. Okay, black folks. On the books, by law, in this country, on the books, by law. Please listen to what I'm saying. On the books, by law, we're equal citizens.
There you go. There you go.
There's your equal.
There you go.
Yeah.
You think that black people in mass, that we are respected? Respect is earned.
Well, the data shows that.
Well, respect, and there's plenty of stuff that society, we can get it, all of that. But most of that stuff we can't control. Well, let's look at the things we can control and how are we doing in those?
Flavor of Love is the shit, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hello.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta,
Basketball.
Miami, Kalamazoo.
So let me ask you, black
Calabasas.
folks, what does equality have to do with respect? We earned equality on paper. Have we earned respect? Do we even respect each other? How in the hell you want somebody to respect you outside of your house when you don't respect yourself inside your house?
And on that note,
Sherbety nigga.
hey, thank you for joining us. Comment, like, subscribe, share. We really need that feedback. We read the stuff that we get. So a lot of the stuff comes out of that. A lot of the stuff comes out of our conversation.
Come on, man. Share the video. Send it to your baby mama.
Hey, and her uncle.
Your Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie. Send it to Uncle Charlie. And speaking of Charlie, you need to give Charlie Chaplin his mustache back.
Oh, I should have known that was coming.
Top hat and the cane.
Man, so big ups to Dio behind the boards.
Yeah.
Big ups to
OG chest hair.
hey, it's a go. Listen, Tally and Twine, all the cats that we love, and hey, listen. So tune in next week. All right. Peace.
Wadita.